Audrey, could you pop us over to the next slide?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, perfect. And one last thing, it's just a reminder that today's presentation is for educational purposes only. Final rates, products, or services should be confirmed with the credit union representative at the time of service. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to our today's presenter, Audrey, who has been with the credit union for over 11 years and 7 years with Financial Wellness. She enjoys helping our members realize their financial potential and guiding them towards their goals. Audrey loves hanging out with her 2 boys and cat, and also loves working out. Audrey, I'll check in with you later, but for now, the floor is all yours.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here for this webinar today, titled, Making the Connection Between Financial Wellness and Mental Well-Being. So in today's presentation, we will discuss the connection between the two. So we'll go over, it's covering up. The agenda today will be defining financial wellness, making the connection between financial wellness and mental health. Also, we'll talk about some causes of financial stress and some mindful money strategies and how we can help, as well as some tools and resources. But before we get started, we'll kick it off with our first poll question that will also lead us into our first topic. If my mouse will work, okay.
So
what is financial?
I got it from here for the polling questions, Audrey. So for our first question, we want to know, what does financial wellness look like to you? And just a reminder, if you're tuning in on a mobile device, you may need to swipe left or right on your phone screen to see the questions and answers. And if we go ahead and launch the Slido, these are the answer options. A, paying all my bills every month. B, having money in my savings account. C, being debt-free. D, being rich. You know what? These are all great answers. Sarah, what does financial wellness look like to you?
For me, I would have to say I resonate more with B. I fortunately don't have a lot of bills to pay, so I pay what I pay my bills, but I like it when I have lots of money in my savings account. So I feel like that's what financial wellness looks like to me. Jason, Audrey, what would y'all say? Guess it's kind of like could be like a personal opinion.
I think my answer encompasses actually all of these. So what I really gauge financial wellness as is how many times I have an opportunity to be able to take trips throughout the year. And so in order to be able to do that, I'm going to have all of my bills paid. I'm going to have a little bit of money in the savings account, and I somewhat need to be debt free, but also kind of rich maybe. So I'm going to say all of them. But if I just had to narrow it down to one, I would probably say B, just having money in the savings account.
Okay. Sounds about right for me too. Sometimes it's all of the above, but then depending on what season I'm in or what's going on, sometimes it just means, hey, all my bills are paid and I have a little bit of money left over until next paycheck. I'm good. So it's kind of different for everyone. So yeah, so we'll talk about what we think it looks like. But anyway, Sutton, go ahead.
Yeah, Sarah, so what are our attendees saying today?
It looks like majority and 67% of the audience said C, being debt-free, and then another 33% said B, having money in my savings account. So those
Awesome.
two were the ones split. Yeah.
All right, awesome. We'll pass it back to you, Audrey.
All right. So now that we've talked about what financial wellness looks like or means to us, let's take a look and see what the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB. So let's see what they say. So to the CFPB, they say that financial wellness is having financial security and financial freedom of choice now and in the future. So as we can see that it's different for everyone. So how do you guys feel about your financial wellness, those options that you chose? How does, well, you don't have to answer now, but you can put it in the chat later, but what is it, how do you feel about your financial wellness at this moment? And we'll circle back on that later. All right, so I know these are some heavy statistics, but I did feel like that they were important to share because part of making the connection is recognizing the root cause of mental health issues. So 46% of people with debt also have a mental health diagnosis. So you can kind of how they go hand in hand. Also, 86% of people with mental health issues say that their debt makes their mental health worse. And of course, I'm sure we can all think back on a time where if we were already having some mental issues and then some financial issues, it just makes that mental issue even worse, and even sometimes vice versa. Also, it says people um, with depression and debt are 4.2% more likely to still have debt 18 months later compared to their counterparts without depression. So that makes sense. Those with debt are also 3 times more likely to contemplate suicide. So it is important to recognize the root cause. So if you are experiencing high levels of stress and depression, it could be related to financial issues. So making the connection. So imagine having a significant amount of debt and the constant worry of paying off the debt. That alone itself can lead to stress and anxiety. It can also impact your mental health, leading to other issues such as insomnia, depression, and panic attacks. So it's basically a two-way street. The mental health issues, financial issues, financial problems can lead to mental health issues, and mental health issues can lead to financial problems. So in this next diagram, we'll kind of see how they basically connect. So the best thing would be basically finding out where your trouble lies. Does it start with mental health? Is your mental health causing an impact in your financial? Is it mental health problems making it harder to manage your money? If that's the case, then you'll have financial difficulties. Then the financial difficulties can cause stress, and it just kind of keeps you in a cycle there. All right, so wherever it begins, there is always that connection, and a start to a solution would be to identify your stressors and begin to break the cycle. So in this next slide, it's going to be another poll question.
Yes, we got it from here for the second polling question. Just a reminder again, if you're on a mobile device, you may need to swipe left or right on your screen to see the questions and answers. And just to get another pulse of the room, we want to know, what's your biggest financial stressor right now? A, not enough income. B, too much debt. C, budgeting. D, not enough savings. Or E, all the above. Yeah, I don't know. I have to say personally, E, all the above. I think if I was rich, it'd solve a lot more of my problems. Sarah, what about you?
I would have to say right now, in my current state, I'm with E right now. I don't have enough income. I have a car loan I'm paying off. I need to learn how to budget better, and I don't have enough savings to go on trips with Jason. So I would have to say A. Right now, our attendees are agreeing with me. They are all saying all of the above. We have 33% saying not enough income. But to our financial wellness experts, what would you guys say? Or at least what do you see being the biggest, most common financial stressor within our members?
I would say budgeting, because 9 times out of 10, they can make it with what they make off their income. So a lot of times they just don't even realize that, yes, you can make it, or yes, you can make ends meet. You do have enough. It's just not being allocated in the proper places. So I would say budgeting is the biggest thing, because a lot of times when you budget, you realize you do have enough income and you do have enough to start saving. So I'm going with budgeting.
I second that 100%, Audrey. So, typically the way that I would describe it is that the failure to be able to create a solid budget or a solid plan will lead to it being letter E, all of the above, right? But in the event that you
Right.
have a solid plan in place, you know, you will realize, just like Audrey said, there is enough income, right? And because you identify that there's enough income, you don't overwhelm yourself with the amount of debt. And you also have the ability to be able to put money back for a savings account. So absolutely, I say budgeting is going to be top tier, but in the event that you fail to do that, I can easily see how most people would be overwhelmed by the entire letter. So, yeah.
Makes
Yep.
sense. Snowball
Yep.
effect.
I agree. All right.
Alrighty.
So some financial stressors. What would you say? You guys could put it in the chat. We can talk about it later when we come up with the questions. But financial stressors can be personal money beliefs like YOLO, money is made to be spent, of course. I know some people that live by that, but then I always ask them, what about tomorrow? Or what about next week? So your personal money beliefs can be one of those factors that causes, you know, a stressor if you're living like that, like YOLO. Unexpected life events like a hospitalization or accident or even termination. Um, Lack of resources, lack of financial education can also be a stressor. If you're going through something and you already know you don't have anyone to reach out to, you know that there's things that you should know that you don't that could help you, but you just don't know them. And then also lack of planning. So to combat those things, check the resources and the services of your local credit unions and financial institutions, and then also just staying engaged so that you can properly plan. All right. Any questions so far? Any questions in the chat or?
No questions on my side. Sutton, any questions on your side in the Q&A?
No questions in my Q&A, but guys, there are no dumb questions. Please drop them in the chat, or if we don't get to them now, we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. So, Audrey, we'll go back to you.
All right. So how do you respond when you're dealing with stressors? There's two big ones that two commonly big ones that we probably all know about is either the fight or flight. So a common example with fight would mean that you deal with your stressors head on and seek solutions. That could mean just taking the time to set a budget, making an appointment with a financial wellness counselor, or that could mean you're fighting it, you're not avoiding it, maybe you're going to make that call to the creditor or answer if they call, you know. Those are all things considered, you know, you not backing away from it. But on the other hand, sometimes we choose this one, it's flight, which is not the best thing. I mean, of course, stressing is not good, but we don't want to ignore the problem. Ignoring it just kind of allows us to continue the negative behavior, like just going shopping or just saying simply, I'll just deal with it later. But of course, you know, understanding that, you know, making good financial decisions is harder when our mental health is challenged. So stress is a big threat to both our mental health and the financial well-being. So however you deal with it, um, whether it's the fight or flight, it's definitely something that you want to plan for. So that way you're not just kind of keeping yourself in the cycle. So what are some things that, oh, sorry, go Sutton. Next poll question.
Yes, guys. So this is our third polling question, and it is short answer. So feel free to type in your answer in the Slido screen to the right. How do you cope with stress? I know a lot of people probably have a lot of different answers for this. I know I cope with stress is I vent to my coworker Sarah a lot all the time, or I like to I like to work out or go walk my dog, or even down a pint of ice cream is one of my favorites. Sarah, how do you like to cope with stress?
Ooh, I like that one. I like to work out. play kickball, softball, you know, hit the ball really hard, throw the ball really hard when I can. But ice cream is good. I like that one.
Mhm.
It's a good one. What about you guys? How do you guys cope with stress?
Actually, make a plan. I tell myself, okay, you know this stresses you out already. So instead of me allowing it to stress me out for the entire week or for the entire month, I put a day on my calendar and I say, okay, on this date, you're going to deal with whatever is going on financially. You're going to make a plan and stick to it and just go on. But if I don't do that, if I don't plan, then I'm thinking about it every single day. So it's kind of like wasting your good days when you can just designate a day and just live stress-free for those days up until that date that you chose. So that helps me is just putting a date on the calendar. So that way I'm using my days before that day to not stress about it because I already know I have it on my calendar and I'm going to deal with it at that time. So that's
That's
what I do.
why Audrey is the financial wellness counselor and me and Sarah are not, because we
Yeah.
don't have good
We're
strategies.
eating ice
So,
cream. We're eating
yeah,
our, yeah.
But you can do
we're getting
both.
aggressive at sports. Jason, what about you?
So I actually have two different types that I try to abide by. The first one is a little bit more preventative. So what I have implemented over the past year, right, is this concept of a self-care Sunday. And so every Sunday out of, every week, I take, the later part of that day to just kind of like wind down. And that typically involves a very hot shower, me doing everything that I need to be able to look my absolute best. So that means kind of like getting my head shaved, getting my beard taken care of and shaped up. I take a long hot shower and I just sing until like everybody probably is sick and tired of hearing me sing. But that's kind of something that I've implemented to kind of like prevent any stress that I could possibly have or maybe just wind down from of things that I've gone through the previous week or the prior week. And then also something that I do when I'm actively involved kind of in trying to release stress is I just like to get active. Fortunately for me, I live in an area that has like this huge lake that has a walk around. And so in the event that something is stressing me out in the moment, I get out and either run that, walkway or walk it depending on how stressed I am. And so, yeah, those are my two ways, preventative and something like in the moment.
Nice. Some
Mm,
self-care. So some
those are good.
attendees, they said pray, therapy, hanging out with friends, spending all my money on clothes, some retail therapy. Someone else said reading and the beach. So kind of some good answers there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, planning is also a really big part of it. So that way, when you are on the beach and you are trying to enjoy that time, you're not thinking about those other things.
True.
Um, then also, of course, you can seek guidance from a professional, both on the mental and the financial side. And of course, think positive. Think about the things that are going well, and then just capitalize on those things as victories and what you did to achieve them, and just kind of repeat the process. All right, anything else before we move on? All
Nope, you're good to go. Thank you.
right, you're welcome. So, some more mindful money strategies. You definitely want to set clear financial goals. Pick one area to focus on, and then create a savings and a spending plan. So basically, you want to know your ins and outs so that you can realize what your potential savings is. And then also establish emergency savings. And of course, plan for retirement. Utilize company-sponsored retirement and insurance plans, and then often take time to do a self-check-in about your finances for the past. I mean, if you have to do it every day, sometimes it's good to do it daily. So that way at the end of the week or the month, things are just not crazy. So whatever that looks like to you to stay established, then, there's many things that you can do. And a few more mindful money strategies. Seek therapy, meditate. Later on, we'll get to some tools and resources, but in one of the tools, there is a meditation tool in our navigator. So that's I heard that that's very helpful. I haven't tried it yet myself. And then just practice money mindfulness and then set clear boundaries. So you want to think about how you would approach everything that you're doing. So have a plan. Um, and remember, card swipe is a negative or a positive. Just think to yourself, will this hurt me or help me later? And just knowing that boundaries sometimes means making a sacrifice. These things can help guide you to financial freedom, just knowing that. So just be ready to set some boundaries and just know that those boundaries are going to feel like you're making sacrifices because you are. And staying on top of your finances, review your credit reports. That's a big thing. You want to make sure that whatever you see there is supposed to be there as far as the amounts and just the actual account itself. Analyze monthly spending plans. If you have one set up, if you don't have one set up and you need help with that, you can always come to see us. Reconcile accounts. That kind of looks different for everyone. You can do this while you're doing your budget. I always tell, some of my members, if you find yourself in a financial situation and you're in the process of, digging yourself out, it is a good idea to go over your budget again, just to make sure that there's not things there that can be eliminated temporarily or permanently to help get you back on track. That also ties in with reducing debt. Let's say, for instance, you're trying to get out of debt and you're working a lot of overtime. So going through your budget, if I'm helping you look at it, I might see a gym membership and I may say, okay, well, you're trying to get out of debt. I see that you're working a lot of overtime. You may not have time to use your gym membership or some streaming services. You may not really have time to get your money's worth out of them. So that would be a time where you can kind of take some things out of the budget and just kind of start reducing your debt. And that comes with developing good spending and savings habits. That could look like just making sure that you have a plan. Those are good habits to have. Also, when you go to the store, do you have a grocery list? Are you sticking to the grocery list? And then avoiding payday loans. We know that those are some things that I'm sure that we've all seen our members come to us with trouble. They thought it was something that was going to help them. It probably did help them temporarily, but then later on they realized that maybe that wasn't the best option. So avoiding payday loans as well. And then also using service provider referrals. Just make sure that you're taking good use of those if they are provided. And we usually do provide referrals in some cases where we are not able to assist in the capacity that the member needs. And so sometimes there is a need to refer to outside agencies. And then last but not least, open an emergency share account. This is something that I always like to recommend because this is something that the member can control directly. They choose when and how much money to put into the account. And it also just knowing that they have it helps alleviate stress and the burden of what if something happens. All right, so that is almost the conclusion of our presentation. I'll leave you guys with this from Susie Orman. Financial freedom is having your heart and mind free of worrying about life's what ifs. And we did talk about, we would come to some tools and resources. Our financialwellness.aacreditunion.org is a website where you can look at some different tools and resources, all things financial wellness. It also gives you the option to set up an appointment with one of our financial wellness counselors. The Navigator, some of you guys may be familiar with that. We've been having that for a few years. That is also where you can find the link to the the meditation for financial wellness under the navigator. And of course, the online banking app. I'm sure most people do have that. And then your credit score and report, credit monitoring, you can find that within online banking under the financial wellness tab. And then just some more tools and resources and our contact information, how we can be reached. 833-FINWELL. We have certified financial counselors, experts in financial assistance for bruised credit situations. So we'll review your credit with you, answer questions that you might have in regards to that. Advanced financial indebtedness solutions. We talked about some of those resources and those referrals to different outside agencies that may be able to provide assistance in the capacity where we are not. And then continuous accountability, support, and guidance through follow-ups. Most appointments do come with a follow-up. And then also educational seminars throughout the year like this one here. Okay, sorry, there's a delay. I clicked too many times.
Alrighty, I will take it away from here, Audrey. Thank you so much for sharing the content today. Thank you, Jason, for participating, and to all of our attendees for joining us. But in order to take advantage of most of our financial wellness services, and to be able to talk to our experts like Jason and Audrey, you need to become a member if you're not already. So for those who aren't and would like to start their member journey today, you can easily do so by scanning that QR code and using promo code BD4412 at the end of your application. And usually the code will take care of the initial new member deposit of $6, but for this week only until Saturday, till the 23rd, that code will fund $25 since this week is Aviation Week. So if you haven't already, definitely join, get that $25 in your savings account, and you can also stop by a branch to win an exclusive handmade airplane piggy bank, and or you can go to our events page to sign up for our 100,000 A Advantage bonus miles. We're doing a drawing to give away those. And once you're a member, you can share the gift of membership with your family. Whenever you refer your family members or permanent household members or your coworkers, you get $25 and so do they, up to $250. So an easy, quick $50 right there. You could easily sign up, use that promo code, $25 in your account, then $25 when you recommend your grandma or your mom, coworker. Audrey, can we go to the next slide, please? Next, I'll cover some of our current offers that we have going on this summer until the end of next month. So whenever you open a new checking account, you can earn up to $200 whenever you set up direct deposit and use your debit card and set up your digital wallet. Very quickly, easy. And if you're an American Airlines employee, you get paid 2 days earlier payday. You can also enjoy a 90-day payment deferral and save up to 0.5% annual percentage rate on your next auto loan. And you can enjoy a 2.25 annual percentage rate intro rate on balance transfers whenever you open a new Visa low rate credit card. After 6 months, your rate is going to vary between 11 and 18 APR percent. But be sure to check out more details on those promotions on our website, on our offers page, and to check out our events page for more details on our Aviation Week celebration and our A Advantage miles drawing. So next, we will move to any last minute questions we have. I have one on my side set in. I don't know about you, but somebody asked, what are the first steps someone can take if they're feeling overwhelmed by financial stress?
I would say the first steps, there's many, there's no right or wrong answer. It's going to be whatever you feel comfortable with. But I would recommend if you are feeling overwhelmed, I would just say reach out to one of the financial wellness counselors and just let them know that you're stressed about your finances and you would like to have some help just sorting through everything, you know. Yeah, that would be my recommendation, is reach out to someone. I would say involve a second brain, basically.
That's good.
Someone asked on my side if you could do reoccurring meetings. Is it just like a one-time visit, or could we meet more than once?
You can most definitely meet more than once. It's continuous. The program is pretty much customizable. It's basically customizable. You customize it yourself. If you feel like you need someone to check in with you once a week, we can do that. If you need a check-in once a month, every 2 weeks, whatever you feel like will help you jumpstart your journey to financial well-being and keep you on track. We're here to do that.
Somebody asked, what goes into reconciling accounts?
That can mean many different things. Just making sure that what you know should have taken place actually took place. So whether you're comparing your online banking with your bank statement, or whether you have a purse full of receipts and you pull them out and you log into online banking or bring out your statement to compare, just to make sure that everything is how it should be. Or it could be just going through looking at maybe subscriptions and things that you no longer use that you've been charged, for a few months. That could mean just going in and canceling those things and just making sure that everything is running smoothly going forward. I hope that answered the question. Anybody else have a take on that?
No, but I have another question. Somebody asked, how do you recommend balancing short-term needs like bills and groceries with long-term financial goals like retirement?
How would you balance that? I would just say first things first. You may not be in a season, or your income may not be in a season of your life to be able to put retirement as a priority. So you may not be putting as much into it. But I certainly don't think you have to not do it. But I would just say prioritize things. What is a priority to you?
Yeah, for me, I would say, and this may go into prioritization, right? The way that I actually determine what my income is the amount that I bring home, and that's already taken into account that I am putting aside for retirement, right? Typically, the first thing that I would recommend everyone do is to at least contribute to an employee assistant retirement program to take advantage of a lot of the matches that they do, so that you're not just limiting yourself to the amount that you're actually contributing yourself, and then basing your lifestyle on the amount that you actually bring home. And then if you think about it like that, you're pretty much killing two birds with one stone. You're making sure that you accomplish saving for long term while being able to put into perspective what you need to accomplish short term by being able to budget based on a definite amount.
Perfect. Yep. I agree with that.
Perfect. Awesome, awesome. Sutton, any more questions on your side?
No, I don't have anything on mine.
Alrighty, if there's no other questions, then I can wrap us up. Wait, Audrey, can you take us back to your financial wellness information slide? We can end it on there. So that way, if anyone
Yes.
needs any of the phone number or the email, they can write it down. But thank you all once again for joining us today. If we didn't get to your question, or if you have something a little bit more personal you'd like to discuss, we'd love to connect with you. Just let us know in the survey that you'd like a financial wellness representative to reach out, and we'll follow up early next week. If you'd like a copy of this presentation, you can also request that on the survey. But be sure to visit our event schedule on our website for more details on our upcoming webinars, and stay connected with us on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X, and be sure to like and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube pages, where we have previously recorded webinars just like this one. But on behalf of Jason, Sutton, Audrey, and myself and the entire credit union team, we truly appreciate you guys tuning in today. Have a wonderful rest of the week. To my panel, y'all want to have the last word? Anything you'd like to add before we close it out?
Nope. I think I'm good.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you guys for attending. See you on the next one.